I think for as long as I've been doing woodworking, I have bought my countersinks in the hardware store. And I usually end up with something like these guys right here with the wings on the tip, or something like this, which is kind of a combination, has the drill bit included. And I hadn't tried this style yet. I just got these from Lee Valley Tools just recently. And what prompted me to do that is that I have done too many countersinking jobs where the quality of the hole just isn't what I wanted. And usually it's when I have a pre-drilled hole. Now see, if you have this wing style countersink and you go into a straight, just into an undrilled area, that usually comes out pretty nicely. It's smooth around the edges, but once you get into a pre-drilled hole, you could hear that chatter there, and you can see how this changed from the nice smooth-edged hole there to that rough edge. And the way that I get around that normally, it even does this on the drill press, but a lot of times when I'm working on a project, if I have the luxury of planning all the holes in advance, I will go along first with the countersink and countersink everything, and then come back later and put the holes in the middle. So I was getting tired of having the rough edges, because there were a few projects I did recently where I just didn't have the option of countersinking before I drilled, and I had to come in at a little bit of an angle. I ended up with some really rough holes that I wasn't too happy with. I started looking around at other options and came up with this guy right here from Lee Valley Tools. And this isn't sponsored. I was curious to try this out. It's a completely different design than the wingtip ones. It just has a hole drilled through the steel, and as it's turning, that part right there acts as the cutting edge and shears a little bit off of the hole. So check out the difference here. Now this will work in an area that isn't drilled yet, just not as well, because it's not a drill bit tip, but you can give it a little pressure and get it to work just as well. But notice the difference between this one and that one. Cut very easily and didn't have all of that chatter around there that the wing style did. So I think that I am convinced this is going to be my new go-to. And I'm going to put these ones away because they have their purpose. These are some pretty good countersinks. They're made by IRWIN, and I've used them for wood and for metal actually. This style is pretty good if you have to countersink metal. Like I haven't tried this on steel, but I've used it for aluminum and brass, and usually does a pretty good job because it's more of an even texture. The complication with wood is that with this wingtip style, the cutters are hitting end grain and edge grain at the same time, and there's also different densities of grain in the wood, so it makes it jump around a little bit even when you're using a drill press. But for metal, it's the same consistency all the way around, so it works out pretty well. I know it's not a good idea to use the same countersink on metal as wood, but that's what we do sometimes, right? Make bad decisions in the workshop, and then we end up buying some new tools. So this one right here, I would definitely not use on steel or metal, any kind of metal, not even non-ferrous metal like brass. I'm going to keep these reserved just for woodworking. But I'll show one other thing here. I don't do this very frequently, but sometimes I'm making like a pencil holder or something, I just want to put a little bit of a round over on the top. And you can do that with a router bit, or you can do it with sandpaper manually. But I've tried it before with the countersink bit, and what usually happens is, I'll show you the before first. What usually happens, even on the drill press, if I try to clean up one of these holes just around the edges, it just ends up pretty much shredding it. I mean, you could hear the chatter there. And if I use this one, you can hear there was almost no chatter, and you can see what a difference that made in the quality of the cut. Now, if I did it on a drill press, it would be even better. So that's my recommendation. If you're going to invest in some countersinks, I would say, I don't remember what I paid for these guys, for the complete set. Certainly less than what I paid for just these two, I think. I think that this set of 2 countersinks from Lee Valley was around $30. And those are the part numbers right there. You just look up Lee Valley Tools. I'll put a link in the description for their website, and then you can look up their countersinks. And let's see, last I guess I should mention these guys. It's kind of the same thing as this, but the only reason these don't chatter as much is because you have the drill bit in the center that prevents the side-to-side movement and stabilizes it a little bit. But these are only good if you're going through this into another piece of wood at the same time that you're going to be fastening this board to. If you're just drilling a piece like this before assembly, that gives you a little too much drill bit on there. So yeah, I would say if you're going to get some woodworking countersinks, you can probably skip these unless you're willing to commit yourself to always doing the countersinking first, and just jump right ahead to something that you're going to be more happy with and get that style right there.